Hello everyone, my name is Jillian Kiefer and I'll be your instructor for our Math 127 class this summer. Just a little bit about myself before I jump into going over the syllabus. I am a second year master's student. I'm actually finishing up this summer, so I'll be wrapping up my degree. So this is going to be my last class at teaching as a TA. Come next semester in the fall, I'm going to be going and teaching at TMCC, so Truckee Meadows Community College. So if anybody's going to be taking any classes there, try and find me then. I did my undergrad at San Diego State University. So I did live in San Diego for a while, originally from the Bay Area, and now this will be about 2 years living in Reno. Also, side note, I do have a small black cat. She may make appearances every once in a while in these videos because she really likes to sit up on my desk while I work, being in the way at all times. So you may see her from time to time making appearances in the videos. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started going over the syllabus. All right, so we're going to go through our syllabus here. We're just going to kind of skim through it, highlighting the most important parts, so we can go ahead and get on with our class. So obviously, as we know, this is Math 127 Pre-Calc 2. This is the second pre-calculus class. Instructor is me, Jillian Kiefer. My email is there. It's just jkiefer@nevada.unr.edu. That is the email that I do use. Somewhere, I'm sure online, there is listed another email, like a personal Gmail. If you email me on that email, I will respond, but it may be a little bit longer. This is my work email, so I'll definitely be able to respond a lot faster once I know that you're my student. So office hours are going to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11 to noon or by appointment. So this is all going to be via Zoom. So when you go in your course page, there's going to be a side or like on your navigation section there on the left-hand side, there should be a link for virtual office hours. So that just goes to my Zoom page. So from 11 to noon, I will be in there. If not, if you click on that link at any other time, I just won't be in there. So our office hours are from 11 to noon. I'll be in there at those times or by appointment. If you can't make it from 11 to noon or you just really like to meet another time, you can always send me an email. We can set up another appointment, which will then also be via Zoom. So our meeting times are technically Monday through Friday via Zoom, but there is no official meeting times since our lectures are just going to be posted to Canvas each day. So we say that, or I'm saying that they'll be posted by 9 a.m. every morning. Not necessarily that they are posted at 9 a.m. every morning. I'm just saying that if there is a section that is listed for that day, the latest it will be posted would be by 9 a.m. that morning. That means that if I do really well and I get really ahead of lectures and I can post all the lectures at the beginning of the week, then I'll go ahead and do that. I'm just saying that if a section is listed on a certain day, the latest time it will be available will be 9 a.m. that morning. So it just gives a little bit of leeway if I'm running a little bit behind. So you can watch those videos at your leisure. So once again, there are no actual meeting times. We are not going to have discussions or anything like that. If you would like to go through extra problems and have more of a discussion, that would be what then office hours are going to be for. So course description, some topics that we're just going over would be trigonometric functions, identities, equations, conic sections, complex numbers, and vectors. So those are just a few things that we're going to touch on throughout the summer. If you're in the class, you should have gotten an ACT score of 27 or SAT score of 110 in math, or a C- or better in math 126. That's how you were able to enter in our class. So some required texts. The book we're going to be using is just called Pre-Calculus 11th edition. It's written by Michael Sullivan. So you have to register in Pearson's My Math Lab to be able to complete all of the homework assignments, quizzes, tests, and final exam. This is also how you're going to be able to actually access the book. There's no need to buy a hardcover copy of the book, but if you do want a hard copy, by all means, you can go ahead and buy one. But when you buy access to Pearson's My Math Lab and you register with our class, you will have access to the e-text. So it would be up to you then on whichever one you'd like to do. You can also go to the Wolf Shop and buy the hardcover copy, and it will also give you access to My Math Lab. So those will be your options there. But you will have to register with My Math Lab. This is an absolute requirement. Our course ID is listed. There is a PDF with direct instructions on how to register in My Math Lab in our home course page. So under important documents, there is a handout listed there. So you can go ahead, click on that, read through that, and that gives you very detailed instructions on how to register with our class. All right, so moving on. Scientific or graphing calculator is required. So you do have to have a graphing or scientific calculator of some kind. I will post the link to the online calculator that I like using called Desmos. But it is best to have one on hand and not use online calculators. Webcam and microphone. Webcam and microphone may be required for identity verification if it ever comes up. And let's say we have to have a proctored final or something along those lines, that would be the case that they would be required. If not, then it's not really required. All right, so just the class structure that's important to go over. This is alternate remote or alternative remote, so we do not meet in person. We're only meeting online, which most of you should be pretty comfortable with at this point since we've been doing it for almost a year. So it's completely online. Lectures are posted ahead of time to watch on your own leisure. The lectures are posted on Canvas. So lectures are pretty much going to be the only things that are on Canvas except for your very first quiz, which is the syllabus quiz, which I will touch on in a minute here. But everything else is on My Math Lab. So you have to be registered in My Math Lab, participating in My Math Lab, doing the homework assignments, quizzes, tests, and final exam to really be getting grades. Your grade or your most current grade is going to be appearing in My Math Lab. It's not going to appear in Canvas. Your only grade in Canvas is going to be the grade that you got on your syllabus quiz, which I will then transfer over to My Math Lab. So My Math Lab will have your most current grade in the class. All right, then our 3 student learning outcomes here is just that students will be able to solve trigonometric equations, students will be able to convert between Cartesian and polar coordinates, and you'll be able to analyze equations of central conics such as ellipses and hyperbolas. So some things to look forward to. All right, so on to homework, quizzes, and exams. So your homework is weighted 15% of your grade. So for every section that we go over, there will be a homework assignment that corresponds to that section. There is also a question form for our class. So that is also linked under the important documents section in our Canvas course page. Sorry, I'm losing my voice there. So the question form is posted. The question form is anonymous. It's just an easy way that you can go and enter any kinds of questions that you have as you're working through homeworks. And before each exam, I'll collect all of the questions in the question form and I'll go over them collectively. If you have a very specific question that you really want a lot of help on, then it would be best to just come by my office hours or email me to set up an office hours meeting. Since the question form is anonymous, I don't know who's writing it. And it is good for, I was a little iffy on this problem. I'd like it to be gone over at some point, something like that. Anything more specific than that, you should email me. So then homework is found by clicking on the homework tab in the main menu in My Math Lab. So once again, homework is done in My Math Lab. You can work each problem up to 5 times to get the correct result. If you have difficult with a particular problem, you can do the skill builder for a little bit of practice before actually submitting, or you can do a similar exercise button. So all late homework is going to be 50% penalty. So if the homework is late and you got 100%, that means you'll get a 50% on it. This goes for all late homework. If you submit half the assignment on time, then the other half is late. The part that's late is going to be the one that you'll get the penalty on. And you don't have to ask to do the homework late. If you just complete it after the due date, it will automatically get the 50% penalty. The homework itself isn't locked. You don't need a passcode for it or anything to access it after the due date. So that would be the late homework penalty there. So students are expected to keep up with textbook readings as well as homeworks and everything like that. The e-text is how you would go to the e-version of the book. Also, last thing about homework, homework is released the day after the previous exam and has to be completed by 11:59 the day of the next exam. So this obviously just excludes the beginning of this class. So our homework is assigned now, and it's going to be due by the day of our next exam, which is this Friday. So your homework for every section is going to be due the day of the exam. So the homework that's due the day of the exam is going to be the content that is going to be on that exam. So for exam one is going to test you on section 6.1 to 6.5. So homework 6.1 to 6.5 is due the day of exam one. So that's how our homework is going to be due. So you'll have about a week and a half or so to actually complete those sections of homework before the next exam. And then hopefully that'll make you prepared enough to go ahead and take the exam. So, all right, quizzes. So your quizzes are going to be weighted 10%. So quizzes are given each day that there is a review or the halfway point between exams. Except, once again, for the syllabus quiz. The syllabus quiz is our first quiz, and it is given on Canvas. So it is quiz 1. It's on Canvas. It's open to take from today until the end of the day tomorrow, so you have 2 days to complete it. All other quizzes have to be completed the day they're assigned, and they will be assigned in my math lab. Only the first quiz is in Canvas. All the rest will be in my math lab. So all quizzes have a 30-minute time limit. You can take each quiz up to twice. You can take it up to 2 times. And at the end of the course, I'll drop your 2 lowest quiz scores. So if you didn't end up taking 2 quizzes, that's okay. They'll be excluded from your final grade. All right, so remember that every day there is a review, there will be a quiz. Occasionally, there will be a quiz about halfway between exams if there is a lot of material that has been going over, or if there's kind of like an extra amount of time between the exams. For our first week, we just have our syllabus quiz, and then our quiz is on the day of the review. You can also find what will need to be done each week by going into Canvas, where we have weekly modules. There is also a list, will say week 1 items or week 2 items, and you can click on that. It will tell you everything that's due this week. And this is also found in Canvas. So it'll tell you what things are due this week and their due dates. So then midterm exams, the total weight of all of your midterm exams is 45%. There's 3 midterms, so they each come out to 15% worth of your grade. So they'll occur each about a week and a half. Each midterm is on my math lab, and it has a 1-hour time limit. 1 attempt is allowed for each midterm. At the end of the semester, if you do better on the final exam than on one of your 3 midterm exams, then I'll replace your lowest midterm exam score with your final exam score. So if you missed a midterm, but you went and got an 85 on the final exam, then I'll replace your 0 on that 1 midterm with the 85 from the final exam. So I'll just copy over that score. So then lastly, final exam. The final exam is comprehensive. It is 2 hours online on my math lab, and it is password locked. So the day of the final exam, I'll release the password and you'll all be able to take it. The final exam, as of now, what I'm planning for is that it will not be proctored. You'll take it just like you took every other exam. The only difference is that it's password locked. I say that is the plan now. If anything else is told to me at any time, that will be subject to change. If I am told that I have to do it a certain way, then I'll have to change it. But if nobody tells me otherwise, it's going to remain unproctored, and it will be through my math lab. So it'll be in the same format as every one of your other exams. It'll just be longer, and you'll have 2 hours to complete it. So attendance. Due to the nature of our online course, attendance is not taken or counted towards your grade. The duration of the class is only 5 weeks, so it would be in your best interest to keep up with the coursework. It is going to end up being quite rigorous since we only have 5 weeks to do a semester's worth of material. So no attendance counts towards your grade. Just make sure you're watching lectures. So then just as a final overall summary here, we have our homework, quizzes, midterms, exam, and finals. Homework is 15% of your grade, quizzes is 10% of your grade, midterm exams are 45% or 15% each, and your final exam is then worth 30% of your grade. All right, so quick going over the exam policy. So you're taking 4 exams this semester, 3 midterms and a final. Each midterm is 15% of your grade. The final is 30%. So of all the exams are going to be worth 75% of your overall score. So 75% of your grade is going to be exams. All right, so all exams are assigned on specific days in my math lab. This is detailed in the course calendar and also in my math lab. All midterm exams must be taken within the 24 hours of their assigned day, as well as the final. Each exam, including the final, is unproctored. So your exam is only available on the assigned day from like midnight to 11:59. So once an exam is started, it has to be completed in 1 sitting. The time limit for the midterms are an hour. Time limit for the final is 2 hours. So makeup exams can be given for extenuating circumstances only. You need to email me as soon as possible if you believe you have an extenuating circumstance. So, if something really comes up the last minute and you weren't able to take a midterm or something along those lines, feel free to email me. We can always determine if it's an extenuating circumstance or not, and we can go ahead and we can work that out. So if you feel that you have one of these circumstances, you have to email me as soon as possible. If you miss the first midterm and you email me at the end of the summer saying, hey, I missed the first midterm, can I make it up? The answer will be no. You have to do it as soon as possible. So as soon as you miss that exam or anything along those lines, you need to email me and we can work something out. Early exams are not permitted. You can't take the exam any earlier than the day it's stated. Failure to take the exam on a specified day will result in a score of 0. So I'll enter in a 0 if you don't go ahead and take the exam. If you end up being able to make it up, then your score will place that 0. But as long as you don't do it, 0 will stay. Students cannot retake the final exam. So that would be the only exam you cannot retake. No rescheduling, no retaking, no early final exam. You have the whole day to do the final exam. You have to do it that day. All right, so grading criteria, scale, and standards. So the grading scale is proposed. I reserve the right to deviate from the scale in any special circumstances. So if you'll notice, there are no minus grades. The minus is just contained within the actual letter grade. So the letter grades have, without the plus, so base letter grades have a much wider range where you can then get a plus grade by getting within those 2%. So an A would be a 90 to 100, a B plus 87 to 89.9, B would be 80 to 86.9, C plus 77 to 79.9, C is a 70 to a 76.9, a D plus is a 67 to a 69.9, a D is a 60 to 66.9, and anything less than 60 is an F. All right, so now we have our course calendar and our weekly outline. There's obviously a lot that's going to be on our course calendar and our weekly outline, so we're going to skim this really fast, and it's going to be up to you to go ahead and really pay attention to it and follow along with it. So there isn't any class on July 2nd, that's a Friday, because this is the day that Independence Day is being observed, so no work or anything due on that day, but you should, use the day to catch up on work or anything like that. So the course calendar and the weekly outline is copied, put into another document, and then is in the important documents tab in Canvas. So it is there as well, so you can just look at the calendar and the weekly outline instead of sifting through the syllabus to go ahead and find it. So if you want to keep those on hand, maybe print those out, have those with you at all times, then you can go ahead and do that. So here's our course calendar. We have our 5 weeks here. We see where our exams are about every week and a half. Our final exam is there on the 9th. We have quizzes in orange. Exams are listed in red. Independence Day is listed in blue. Everything else is just in regular black ink. So we have all of our sections that we go over each day. Some sections you'll see listed twice, but they may just be uploaded beforehand. So it would be up to you, whatever you want to do, whether to split them up yourself or not. A lot of lecture videos actually will end up being a bit on the long side. So what I do is I break them up into smaller chunks so that they are easier to kind of watch at your own pace. So you can watch a few at a time or not. So you can watch them in whatever way that you would like, but they will be broken up into different parts for each section, just so you don't have to sit through an entire hour-long video. All right, and then lastly, we just have our weekly outline here. So we have for each week what homeworks we'll be going over and when they're due, exams, quizzes, and then the topics for that week as well. So you can go ahead and look at that further if you'd like. Then we just have some Zoom etiquette expectations. We don't have live discussions, lectures are just posted, so none of these things are really all that applicable to our class. And then we just have the normal university policies, which are posted in every one of our syllabus for every class. Lastly, the last thing here at the bottom, academic success services. We have the Math Center, which I highly recommend going to if you would like extra help. So the Math Center is open, so you can actually walk in person. It's free. They also do online. It's in the Pennington Student Achievement Center, Suite 230. I have the Math Center linked in our important documents in Canvas. So under the important documents module, we have the Math Center linked there. I also wrote the hours that they are available. So if you click on that link, and it is within the normal hours, you can go ahead and get somebody to help you on your homework at that moment. So it is a really, really helpful resource. I highly suggest that you utilize it to your advantage. So, all right, that covers our syllabus for our class. If there are any questions on the syllabus or anything like that, please feel free to email me at any time and we can go over the syllabus together. If not, then I will see you in our first lecture video. So have a great day, everyone.